Let's get a reminder of our top story on Euronews now. This hour, the European Commission has recommended Ukraine for official candidacy status, a strong symbol of solidarity with the country currently at war. It comes after yesterday's short visit by EU leaders to Kyiv. The Commission also backed Moldova, but Georgia failed to get its support for its candidacy. Ukraine faces a moment of truth today over its application to become an EU member, according to one expert on EU law. The European Commission is expected to recommend the move, but there's likely to be a long list of conditions that could also apply to Moldova too. Well, let's talk now to Alberto Alemanno. He's a close watcher of the Brussels bubble and a professor of EU law at HEC Paris. Well, thanks for taking time to speak to us here on the programme. Well, Ukraine's application to become a candidate has effectively been fast-tracked since February. Outline for us who's been for it and who's been against it and why.
Well, I would say that the European member states have been split over the opportunity to grant candidate status to Ukraine. And we could see countries like the Netherlands still today expressing some reservation, followed by Denmark, basically saying, well, Ukraine is not really ready. We are just rushing into this process. What we're going to do now might carry unintended consequences. The stability of the institutions guaranteeing democracy, the rule of law, human rights are just not ready and won't be ready for a long time. I mean, this country is still in war. This is the arguments of the opponents. But we have witnessed over the last few hours with the visit of the German Chancellor, the French President, the Italian Prime Minister, accompanied by the President of Romania, to Mr. Zelensky, that is pretty clear that now there is political momentum. Even Germany and France are dropping their reservations.
But if it is granted, as you expect, official candidacy status or candidate status, what will that change? What difference will that make?
Well, the granting of the candidate status will formally trigger the membership process. That basically means negotiation will start as a result of this recognition. However, the opinion of the European Commission is simply the trigger for the European member states to gather and define the conditions under which this accession process might actually take place. And we all expect that this will be a conditional candidate status, more conditional than ever. So no other European country wishing to enter into the European Union has been subject to this level of conditions.
So could we then see, is there what's the likelihood then of Ukraine's candidate status being effectively fast-tracked?
Well, there's not really a fast-track procedure foreseen in the treaties, but de facto we have seen since the Versailles European Council, which followed the request submitted by President Zelensky to the European Union, a political will to somehow prioritize the situation of Ukraine, because granting candidate status means to basically take a clear stance of the European Union, speaking with one voice in this conflict with Russia. Again, this does not necessarily entail, and there's no guarantee that the candidate status will transfer into a full membership. There are countries like Albania or North Macedonia who have been granted candidate status already many years ago, and they're still in the waiting line. And surprisingly, they express a favor for Ukraine being granted access status. So we see some political momentum also among those countries to actually push the European Union to think about its own future and seize and leverage on this incredible opportunity to also enhance, as opposed to weaken, their opportunity to establish a political relationship with the European Union, which might not take the form of a full membership as we know it today.